All right, welcome to day 9 of CITIUS MAG Live from the World Athletics Championships, Oregon 22. I'm Chris Chavez, joined by Kyle Merber, John Anderson, Dana Giordano, and let's get right into it, right? Or bring on our first guest.
He is
Nope.
not.
Oh, no, that's like...
First 100 meters.
Oh, my
Okay.
gosh.
Think about that. All right,
It
let's
was-
see us, man.
Yeah.
Every jump?
Yeah. Or the water.
So you were having to switch your leg from what you usually do then?
No, I often take that foot, but
Okay.
you know, you don't want to be thinking like I can only water
Like
jump
we're
one
live?
foot.
Are we
not
live
in
right
it.
now? If we're live,
It's in my
someone
leg.
comment on the YouTube chat and let us know if we're live. We're good?
We're good.
We've just come
All
around
right.
from
All
the
right,
dark
start
side of the
over,
moon.
So a couple technical difficulties, but we are live, CITIUS MAG Live here at the World Athletics Championships. We are so live right now.
That's how you know.
Chris Chavez, joined by Kyle Merber, John Anderson, Dana Giordano, and we've got our first guest sitting down with us through the highs and lows of this intro. We've got Olympic silver medalist, 2017 World Championship silver medalist, American record holder, Courtney Frerichs. Courtney, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
First Barrowman athlete, right? That we've spoken to?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because I think Grant has been a little bit. We saw him at McMinimans, or
Yeah, off record at Agate Alley.
okay, yeah.
Was not
Okay.
live.
Yeah.
They're not mad at you or anything, are they?
No.
Okay.
Why
so
would it
everyone
be?
Just want to
runs
make
two
sure that you're in
events
good
and-
stead with everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Crew's just been a little busy.
Yeah.
Or have
Yeah.
you guys been in Park City? Because I feel
Yeah.
like you just escaped there.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
So-
you went back to Portland between rounds, right?
I ended up staying. I was planning to, and then he actually.
You lied?
convinced- I know. Well, I left that prelim with full intentions to get in the car and go back, and then Griffin convinced me to stay. So,
What was the argument?
we had a
He
lot
wanted
of.
to watch races.
Yeah, to be honest, he didn't want to drive me back that day. We did have a lot of friends and family here, so I kind of realized how special it was going to be able to be to like spend time with them between the races and stuff. And a lot of them left like pretty much right after because I had so much time between races. They were like, "Oh, she'll be around," so it ended up working out. Like I think it was the better move.
What have you made of just kind of Hayward Field just being decorated in just flags from all over the world, and welcoming whatever it is, 200,000 plus people into this city. So the World Championship environment, after having been on many teams over the past half decade, just like what has it been like, I guess, being here?
It's been so special. Again, just even being able to share with so many people that have in my own family that have not seen me race in person, like as a pro, or my best friend's family was here. They haven't watched me since I was a collegiate athlete. So, I think this is my 6th year running professionally, and it's been that long since they've watched a steeple in person. So that aspect's been really cool. And they really have gotten into just being track fans in general, like
That's what
from
happens,
this
right?
experience.
Yeah.
Like, we were eating dinner the night before my final, and my best friend's mom was like, "Can we get to the track like early tomorrow? Like, I want to see everything." Like, they didn't realize how much is going on at all times, just because sometimes on TV it seems like there's a lot of lag time between races or things like that, but they're always setting up something, or and being in the stadium gives you an opportunity to actually understand the field events and other things beyond just the running.
I think just getting people in the stadium, and then just like non-track fans, just put them in the stadium and they'll like realize how big of a spectacle it all is. So I made this suggestion yesterday that we need to start paying fans.
Yeah.
No, maybe not at the World Champs, but like at other meets, it's like we should be filling the stands with those fringe fans who
What,
haven't
like
been.
$5?
Yeah, just $5. Like go sit in the like.
That would be a lot of money.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's an investment in our future. Every year we give less and less money to fans, and then eventually we trick them into paying us.
Yeah.
That'll never work. Once people get something for free, they don't want to give it back. So it was nice. You see, you spend time with all your family. Your family actually spends a lot of time with other people too. Did you know that? That like they're a very, very social group.
They are.
Yeah, they're out and about.
What does this
Yeah,
mean?
Like you can find well, your dad and mom I found, and then your father-in-law
Where are you
and
going,
your mother-in-law. No, I'm just saying that.
Just how opposite I am from the rest of them,
Right.
basically.
I'm just saying, she said it was nice to spend time with them. I'm just saying, when you weren't around them, they spent time with a lot of people and recruited you a lot of fans.
They were actually in front of the CITIUS MAG house the other day. We're
Here.
like, "Are you guys coming in?" Courtney's not coming until a couple days from now.
Yeah, I think that they've just learned to, love Eugene, like talk to anyone and everyone, and they've become big fans.
They're
of the
decked
sport,
out in
so.
Bowerman gear. Like, they're hard to miss, too.
Yeah.
It's
I
everything.
mean-
It's everything but, like, ask me about Courtney on the back. But even
I'm
the Schweizers have,
waiting for my mom to come out with that shirt, because any opportunity she gets to talk about it, like, she jumps on it.
Who has the most diehard parents on the Bowerman Track Club?
Oh yeah, Evans are diehard.
That's gotta be,
Yeah.
I don't know, Chris's dad.
Chris's dad is,
He's a go-getter.
Mike is definitely.
He also remembers everyone.
he does.
I think
and
he has the best memory of anyone I've ever met.
yeah, and like they stayed like a few days like after USA. So they're like, oh yeah, Eugene's just fun to be around and everything. So I mean,
Kyle's like, "Get me out."
Yeah, we've been here a while, but it's all good fun. Are you a track fan? Like outside of just competing and being at these races for yourself, like are you pumped to watch everything?
yeah, I am, and I think some of it too. Like I've been able to have the opportunity to get to know a lot of the stories behind it, and so like last night watching Kara Winger win that medal was incredible. I was roommates with her a few years ago at one of the Diamond Leagues. Got to know her personally. We would always grab brunch when we were training in Colorado Springs to see her come back from injuries on her final throw at her final World Championships. Like, that's amazing. So
Is it have you had funny roommates? Like I feel like that's an aspect
Yeah.
of pro running. It's like you just show up and you get paired with someone from oftentimes a completely different event in different country, and it's just like, here you go. Like,
yeah,
spend 4 days together.
Or if you get in early and someone like sneaks in at night, and then you wake up in the morning, you're like, I had no idea who it was gonna be.
Ryan Krauser. What
I would say the most like opposite. I've always been paired with other U.S. athletes in a lot of the Diamond Leagues, but at Monaco 4 years ago, I was with Queen Harrison, and it really opened my eyes to how opposite sprinter and distance runners' schedules are. Because the night before the race, I was in bed, probably 10:30. I wake up at like 2 a.m. to go to the bathroom, and she was still in the bathroom doing her hair, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like. But when we raced so late at night, but then it was like in the morning, I was like, ate breakfast, went for my shakeout, went for lunch, and she was still asleep.
Wow.
Sometimes people refuse to get on the like same schedule. Like if they go to a new time zone, it's just like I'm just gonna stay with my routine. But if that seems like it should be a group decision.
What weird roommates have you had?
Not
Weird, but like.
Yeah. Well, I had a roommate once at a race that it was the final part of my season. Then I went out and I brought a friend back with me who was like also going out. And so when we woke up, there was 2 guys in a bed, and our roommate was unaware of what had happened, didn't realize that was a platonic night of sleep.
So you're the weird roommate.
So I was the weird. Okay. Can you believe that they thought that was weird? Yeah.
Oh man.
Winger sounds like she'd come with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we actually traveled to the airport together after the meet, and she was going hours early because I just didn't even think about how difficult it must be to travel with a javelin.
Yeah, is that like overhead bin?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. Try to bring that
No
through
weapons
security.
through security. Yeah, good point.
There's nothing to see here when he came through.
So how was the race? Tell us about what was it like being in that final? I mean, it was hard from the gun.
Yeah. I mean, from looking at the prelims, we kind of expected Nora to do that. She's been running the whole season that way. And then Winfred Yavi's obviously been having a really fantastic season going with those hot paces. So I definitely anticipated that it was going to go out really fast. It just didn't quite settle the way that I think maybe I sort of hoped it would. If you look at Prefontaine from 2021, we went out really hard like that, but then came back with like a 3:0 middle K and then picked it back up. And I don't think that quite happened. So
Are you aware of splits? Like when I watch a steeplechase, I have no idea. Like if thankfully, thanks to Sieko, we're able to tell some splits after the fact. But like, are you good at calculating steeple splits? Because it's easy to get lost.
yeah, I know splits pretty well, almost to a fault. So I actually try to kind of ignore it anymore because I think it can, going out in 67, 68 wouldn't be necessarily my ideal start to a race. So I try to just ignore that fact.
Did you notice when, obviously, like Emma goes out, and I feel like you and Emma have typically very different race plans, where Emma sticks to the front, and then you're kind of doing your own thing, lurking, picking up the pieces with mine. Did you kind of notice that moment when she was coming back, or you just so locked into your own race plan you didn't even realize it?
Yeah, I was kind of more just locked into my own. It was one of those things that once I kind of had really fallen off that front pack, it was like, you know what, let's just pick off as many people as we can at this point. Like, I think having to shift that mindset of, for me at least, a medal defining success on Wednesday and just being like, let's just see how high we can place and finish strong. I haven't been super happy with a lot of the finishes I've had, like not just like place wise, but just like how I've actually finished races. So that kind of became the goal.
And you can make that mind shift within the race.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that's just come from realizing that I can't go into a race thinking, at least for myself, that a medal is going to be how I feel like happy about the race, because you just don't know what anyone else is going to do. I mean, I even think that was what allowed me to make the move I did last year. It was like, this is going to give me the best chance to win a medal, but I'm going to do this knowing that it still may not result in that.
Was there any point where you met with Jerry to devise the race plan for the final and you're like, let's pull the same thing that we tried on them last year at the Olympics?
We didn't really have to have that conversation because I think he felt so confident that it was going to go.
Okay.
Last year, that race plan came about just because it seemed like no one wanted to take it. And then that was happening in all the distance races. They weren't really going from the beginning. So
I think that's because it was kind of hot in Tokyo, like the temperatures.
yeah,
Kind
I
of
think,
hot?
Well, I mean, I wasn't there.
Yeah.
It looked hot.
We were in
Yeah.
Martha's Vineyard watching.
Yeah,
We're in the
it
We actually were in the pool.
was, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Hot.
a lot of people were really afraid of the conditions. I mean, our prelim, I will say, was some of the most tough conditions I've ever raced in. I think that was like 120 on the track or something.
Oh my
Yeah.
There was such a distinct difference between like running in the sun and the shade. And so every time you got to a shaded part, you're like, okay, this is like a little rest. But
It's a fartlek. A temperature fartlek.
So
That's what I mean. I kind of see it in Hayward as well on the hot days that there is that half shady section in the sunny
yeah,
side
and
too.
it does make a big difference. And that was, I think everyone expected that we were going to talk about how hot it was, because so far I think Wednesday has been the hottest day so far of the meet. But by the time the steeple came around, the entire track was in the shade. I do think the fans had it pretty rough, because like sitting with the sun directly on you, I don't think would have been very enjoyable. But I didn't think it was too bad on the actual track.
I feel like you're to blame to some for the race going out hard this year, because they're like, okay, she got away with that once. We're not letting her get away with that again.
Yeah, I mean, I think I did catch a lot of people off guard last year. It had been several years since I guess I'd put down a time like that, with 2019 not going quite how I had hoped, and then not steepling at all in 2020, and then even in the lead up to 2021, kind of just running some of the more low-key meets, in a sense actually working on having the confidence to be able to make that sort of move. So yeah, I guess so.
So Chris had asked like your strategy with Jerry in the conversation, but actually you probably talked to Pascal more about any like steeple than anyone else in the world, I would assume. I feel like people don't really, from the outside, realize probably how big of an impact he has on your training and your racing and your success. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, definitely. Just since, Pascal understands, the form side of things, and he's going to be at every single one of my steeple workouts. And even just understand, like, not just me as an athlete, but how that like last K of a steeple is going to feel. And I would say that the last K of a steeple for me is going to be my strongest point, since I'm kind of more of that 5K, 10K type runner coming down. So like, how do we use that, but then take into, account the barriers as well.
When we spoke in the mix zone, you spoke about that it was 4-year anniversary from your American record. You brought it up. Is it something that you feel like people kind of forget about you and count you as the underdog? I know, Emma being kind of dominant for so many years, it's like, you're the one with the Olympic silver medal. You're the one with the American record. And I know you said you're going to Monaco and you're going to be trying to go again for that fast time. Is the objective to break your own record?
I think that's always probably the goal when you're going into some of these like Diamond League races, where time definitely is, can be a goal. I think a lot of world championship, major championship finals, at least for me, I'm not thinking about what time I'm going to run, because you're just places where, it kind of is more of the point. And it is kind of crazy that 4 years has gone by since then, but I do think sometimes it's funny how like it seems like people want there to be this rivalry between Emma and I.
We should. That would be great.
I don't want there to, I don't want there to be a rivalry. I just feel
love
like
it to be really catty and
I think
ugly,
your
saucers of milk.
accomplishments aren't celebrated like they should be. That's my thing. It's like, you have had this record for 4 years and you've had one of the best in the world. It's incredible, and you've really raised up other women in the sport. We had Courtney Wayman on the show as well, and I think you guys have really raised the bar in the game. So it's less of a rivalry and more of, I think it's incredible to have such a strong pair leading from the U.S.
Exactly.
I'm sorry if it came off that
way.
no,
not at all. Not at all. No,
we're not stirring the pot here on this podcast.
No, I certainly feel really fortunate that Emma and I have like overlapped for so much of our career, because, I was fortunate that as I came in to be a pro, she'd already run 9:07. So I'm not just thinking about trying to, run her that sort of 9:12 mark that Jenny had set for so long. Like, I'm like already thinking, well, we're running in the 9:0s, like how close can we get to 9 minutes? And so I think every time that bar can kind of change. And now, hopefully, we're seeing that with Courtney, running 9:16 as a collegiate, and then being like, okay, we're already running under 9. Like, what can we do now? And we're going to keep pushing it when there is more than just one of us. Mm-hmm. So, hopefully, all three of us can kind of show up and keep scaring 9 minutes every time.
I feel like we should go back to fighting. Tell me something that's terrible about Emma Coburn. You're like, this is awful. And then we'll go to Quiggs, and then we'll go to Wayman. Just we want you to take a shot at all of them.
We're nice.
She pleads the fifth on this one.
Not taking the bait.
Just go ahead.
Something that I think a lot of fans don't realize is how new of an event the steeplechase is. Do you ever wish you could just go back in time 20 years and just kick everyone's ass?
Right?
It is crazy. I mean, just to see how much it's progressed. Like, 6 years ago, I had just finished my collegiate eligibility, and I pretty much walked across the finish line of my preliminary heat at the NCAA meet running 9:55. It takes like 9:40 to get into the final now. Like, you're not even going to potentially make NCAAs running 9:55. And then, you look at even U.S. champs, like, you're going to have to break 9:20 if you want to have a chance of getting on the team. You'd win USA's breaking 9:20. So, yeah, it's amazing how quickly it's progressed. But it's also just because I don't think a lot of people realize the first Olympic Games it was in 2008.
Yeah.
Like, that is not that long ago.
No. So you mentioned some of the other, 5K, 10K. Is there one that you're going to maybe take a couple more swings at this season, like as for the rest of the summer, in addition to probably contesting the Diamond League steeplechase, but another fast 5K or fast 10K?
Probably not anything quite that long. I would say more likely to do a 1500 or a 3K,
Okay.
but I think it'll depend on. I don't have any points yet, so got to try to get into the Diamond League final first. But yeah, I would love to take a swing at one of those. I think my flat 3K time is pretty far off what I could definitely run. I think I've closed the 5K as fast as I've run a 3K, so yeah, definitely need to.
That's got to be so funny for people, especially who do like Sydney McLaughlin, like how fast she went last night in running the 400 hurdles, like. Now she's got this big question mark in her head. Well, now what could I do without them? And so for you, I guess it's similar with the water barriers and the steeplechase. So like how? No, I mean
we were doing that like last night. Take out the hurdles and it's still an amazing 400 time. It's like take out the barriers in the water. It's like 9 flat. You're still probably making some NCAA
Do we know what the
championships.
outdoor women's 3K flat record is?
I have no idea what it is.
David's looking it up. He'll get it for us.
For the world.
For American women.
Sid might need a water jump
I think
to make it
it's
safe
eight,
for everybody
right?
else.
Yeah.
Like,
I
what
think
is-
it's 8:25.
Wow.
Oh, you got that.
Well, could you run for 400 hurdles?
Yeah.
right.
I actually-
as a hurdler, yeah.
I got to do some 200s. It was just with like 2 hurdles, so obviously we need to be. But it was so much fun. We were just doing it to kind of like practice kicks, and I turned to Jerry. I was like, I want to run a 400 hurdles so bad.
You should. That'd be
You
such a
should.
cool way to open the season.
So
Was it as many hurdles as it would have been?
no, it was definitely fewer, but
Okay.
You know
I'm
that
definitely
would
tempted.
play mind games with people. Like it's sort of like, how's this gonna help her? Or like, it would just throw people off.
What's the over/under? Would it be like 56? You think?
Well, 56 is probably my all-out 400. Maybe I've split a 57, so
I remember how
So
like
sub
just a couple
60
years
on the
ago.
400
Yeah.
hurdles or not?
yeah.
Just a couple years ago, you were talking
Right
about
before
how like
Monaco, yeah. Because I mean, I'm sure everyone's heard. My speed work coming in as a pro was horrific. Jerry asked me to run a hard 400 in practice, and I actually ran 69 seconds. And he looks at me and he's just like, "We have a lot of."
Puma's got a spot
What?
for you.
I think he was really puzzled with me that first year because I just could not do a lot of the workouts. Just sort of was like, I don't even know what to do.
That
with
should be
her.
exciting. It's like if we've
Yeah, I
gotten
think
this
it
far and
was.
69 is a hard 400.
Yeah.
You're kind of the only steepler on the women's side in the Bowerman group. How has that been, knowing that you have a lot of your own workouts that you're doing over the hurdles by yourself? How have you mentally been able to approach, holding it down on the
Yeah.
women's side?
I think that it's helped a lot with a lot of these races kind of sticking to my own race plan because I'm so used to training on my own in the steeple stuff. And then also like having the confidence to go to the front, push from the front, things like that. But in reality too, like I think I've done probably 4 steeple workouts so far this year. Everything else has been flat. And so, I've got some of the best flat distance runners in the
They're not bad.
world to train with, because that's, I think, still where so much of my growth as a runner is coming from. So, I just try and stick onto them as long as I can.
But when you do that, you're on their turf, right? And so
Yeah.
you're like, do you ever say, why don't you come run with me for a day?
Yeah.
So I can feel like I'm the alpha dog.
yeah, it
And
would.
Who would
That
be a
would
better
be nice.
steepler, Carissa or Elise?
Oh, hands down, Elise.
Oh,
Wow.
I love Carissa, but
you could have thought about it.
entertained
so
the question.
quick.
I think Carissa would agree. So
How are you liking Eugene? Have you enjoyed? Have you loved
Oh.
Eugene this trip?
I am trying to look at it through a new lens. So Yeah, looking at the positives, and it's weird. I mean, this will be like kind of the smallest area I've ever lived in. So, my hometown obviously itself is smaller than Eugene, but the area itself is about 100,000 more people than here. So, actually, I've never lived in a college town. So,
But how long are you in Portland for? Because you guys are on the road.
Yeah.
So
I always make fun of
can
him
you
for
pay,
paying rent.
I know, yeah. I always
it's
say
like
I
a
was
Florida thing, 6 months, another state, cut your taxes,
about 100 days,
in Portland.
I would say, ish. A little more, maybe.
So
From
it's
a
actually
tax
just a training
perspective,
camp.
that's very confusing because you can
Yeah.
like write off whenever you travel.
Right.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, I have 6 months of travel to write off. But we joke. I was like, we own our home for our cat and for Griffin. That's about it.
For Griff.
How many days are you in Portland?
So, but actually, have you, I guess, gone and seen it in the facilities and imagined what life would be like
I was definitely
training here?
Yeah. Well, like the first time we went through a different way to get out onto the track than I ever had been for the prelim. And I was actually kind of like looking around at some of the rooms and being like, okay, wow, like they have a room entirely dedicated to Altergis. Like that's something I've never seen before. So definitely tried to take that in and envision some of how this would kind of fit into my life. And certainly the running is really great here. The community's great. So I think there's certainly some positives.
Why don't you ditch all of them? Just have Griffin coach you. Ditch all of them.
John has lost it on day 9.
No, just go back to Nixa. Griffin knows what he's trying to do, right? Just put him in charge.
I think our families keep trying to push that.
Do they? 'Cause-
Yeah, all the time. They're like, when you guys come back to Missouri?
Do you miss it?
There are things I miss about it, but I mean, deep down, I'm a mountains person now. Like, I love being in the mountains. I love altitude training. My time in Albuquerque was a really special time, and I realized that being in the mountains, the altitudes, that's where I'm meant to be, and I think he's really fallen in love with that too. So,
Were you a high responder?
yeah, definitely. So,
Park City or Albuquerque?
oh man. I mean, in terms of just like the place I love the most is definitely Albuquerque. Like, I think the running in Albuquerque is amazing. And
Better hop
obviously,
air balloon rides there too. So.
exactly. You can't beat that. And obviously, like, it was just a really, really special year. So I think most of us can
Have you
speak
tried to get
about that.
Bowerman to come to Albuquerque
I
to
have-
experience it?
Well, Jerry did
Not high
love
enough.
Albuquerque when we were there for US Champs, because I took him down to the Bosque and he was like, this is incredible. And especially they've just keep making the Bosque nicer and nicer. Like, even from
What
when
is
I
the
was-
Bosque? I don't know what that
Okay,
is.
Yeah,
so
I've
it's
never
like
been either.
So the dirt trails along the river down in Albuquerque, it's called the Bosque. It's and then you have like the bike path too with gravel next to it, and I mean, you could have, I don't even know how many different routes you could do out and backs. You can loop it because you can go down the other side of the river too.
Is it pretty flat?
And it's flat, which is something that can be really hard to find at altitude locations.
The Park City bike
Is-
path, I have to say, is one of the hardest bike paths that has ever existed. You guys train out of this gym. I spent some time in Park City. So you train out of this gym and you start your run immediately going downhill. So every single day you're going to be finishing on an uphill.
Exactly. And you spend the first like half of the trip just actually, honestly, I don't know that it ever gets easier. Just dreading the turnaround.
I think
You're
it's
like-
a really hard place to run.
It really is. Nothing is like truly flat unless you're on a turf field.
Do you run on the turf field a lot?
I mean, some of the doubles. If you need like a really easy one, you'll go to the turf and just do like, 20 minutes to start, kind of get the body warmed up.
I feel like the Park City high schoolers are not that impressed by runners. They're like, unless you're an Olympic skier,
Yeah.
they're not looking twice at you. They're not like Eugene high schoolers looking around at who you
Yeah.
are. They're like, can you leave my track so I can do some crazy flips or something?
It is insane, like the amount of winter athletes there that seems to be like definitely the focus.
Skiers
But-
have the right idea, though. Here, let's let gravity help, and then we'll just take a chair back up to the top.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the way to go.
You should be able to use the Olympic Training Center there, though.
Yeah. I think a few people were using like the Altergis there, but we've actually never used it. So
How is it just being in Eugene now? And it's probably going to now be more permanent. And just everywhere you go, people are recognizing you. And like you can't go to breakfast without someone probably asking for a picture or autograph. That's probably how a lot of professional athletes feel all the time. But you kind of now just get it for the small little window now.
yeah, it is funny because I remember who it was. It happened. We were walking down the street and they're like, oh, that must be just like a really like, you know, specific thing happening here. I was like, yeah, aside from, you know, some of the diamond leagues where you just get those like random people
Those people are
standing
very strange. I
outside
have to
of the
say.
hotels
Yeah,
with their
the-
binders.
And they have
With their
binders and like
of
pages and pages of
photos.
photos that they've like
And
printed
then
out.
they-
They're glossy. I was
and
like,
they just try to see how many they can get you to sign before you're like, okay, that's enough.
have you never experienced that?
I don't think so. I don't know those binders.
What are
Yeah,
these
it's like
people
at
talking about?
Lausanne in like Paris.
They
It's just,
actually
like-
really don't vet who comes out, I have to say. I did a non-Diamond League race in London. Ray Flynn, you know, was like, Dana, we'll see what you I think it was just funny to him to see what I could do. And I walked out and they like had me sign. I'm like, literally no one knows who I am. So I think anyone who walks out of the team hotel, they're like, just in case, I will
Yeah,
have
I
the
mean,
signature.
it'll be just like index cards sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
and,
I've signed
and
some-
they
yeah.
just like hand.
Do
I
they-
think they're betting to see
Yeah.
who gets big.
But do you think
Yeah.
are they legit fans, or are they like at the NFL training camp where the adults send the kid up there because he's got a better chance to sign stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Right? You've seen
Some
that,
bait.
right?
No,
they
they're,
send
they're
the
like
kid out
a
and sign
full-grown
that.
adults.
Yeah, they're
okay.
adult men. Yeah.
You have no idea what they're doing with those photos later on.
You
Like,
know,
I've never seen them on
Griffin
eBay.
did find someone trying to sell one of mine for like $2.
$2. So he bought it.
Then we're gonna
yeah, that was the one sale.
We're gonna take that money and we're gonna give it to a fan to sit in a seat.
Have you signed yet? Because I've
Oh,
now,
yeah,
like,
now
become
we
really
have to
into this
see.
idea of seeing what the different pros' signatures look like.
Oh,
And
good, silver. It's my color.
Yeah.
and if you like say anything about the steeplechase, do you go USA? Do you write down a personal best?
Yeah, we got to see. Yeah.
Oh, normally I just do my name.
You don't put the
so-
brag line?
No.
I think
Brag
so.
line's the
Someone
tagline.
has asked. A few people have asked me to put the 857, but
You're like, it's getting
No
only
one's
gonna
put
get
their
faster.
Olympic rings next to it. That's kind of a signature go-to for a lot of
So
Olympians.
you mentioned Albuquerque and the balloons, the hot air. Have you ever ridden in your brother-in-law's hot air balloon?
yes.
Your brother-in-law.
The first time I went up was in Colombia.
Okay.
Yeah, so fun fact, Griffin's brother, he flies hot air balloons.
Okay.
And he has since he was, 14? 13 or 14?
What?
Alone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got his pilot's license then when he was 16, and
Wow.
then,
So if you're in a hot air balloon, you're a pilot. Mm-hmm. Never even like.
yeah.
I always was.
It's this.
As opposed to-
It's a license
I
that
think of
also
planes.
qualifies you to fly blimps. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I heard that there's like not
4
even that many.
blimps
Yeah, like
left.
there's like 10 blimps left or something.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, there's not a lot of blimps. I think there's a helium shortage.
You don't see that many blimps around anymore.
we
Thank
need more
God.
blimps.
We need your signature.
Thank God they're licensed, because I don't know that I want an amateur balloon pilot.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I feel like that's where I should insist on someone who's licensed.
No, I mean you need a license to like do someone's hair.
When I was in Albuquerque for NCAAs,
Oh, look, that's good. So you can you can read what that is.
that's
Yeah,
a
with-
good one.
With
Yeah, that's
Kate right
nice.
there.
Yeah.
Who is this?
No idea.
We have no-
What is that?
Malcolm Gladwell.
No, Malcolm signs in.
Nope, you can tell he's
Yeah.
over there.
with
He's
an
in now.
exclamation point.
Yeah. So, you just brought up hair. How did the idea for dyeing the different hair colors come about?
Mermaid.
Oh.
So I forgot I had it.
Yeah. We just, we wanted to do something fun. Carissa showed up. We have a friend in Park City that always does our hair, and she showed up with pink. And I was like, you know what? I want to do that too. So, turquoise has always been my color, obviously. So that was how I landed
Go
on.
Lobos.
Yeah.
So that bracelet says Fearless, the Artican bracelet that you have.
Her ring says fearless too.
Yeah. So you picked Fearless, I think, what was it, as your like word or mantra? A couple, like
2017.
2017. And you usually pick a word every year. Can you reveal what the word is for this year?
This year for the final, it was commit. And so it was like committing to like going with things, not just being out the back. So
Do you work with a sports psychologist? Oh, cool. And
Yeah.
that's like something that they encourage you to do is
yeah, so this one is Belong, which was from Tokyo. So yeah, and sometimes the word changes throughout, but commit felt really appropriate because I was just kind of struggling to get back to that sort of like confidence that I could at least put myself in it again.
Yeah.
Did you do anything fun after the final? I know you have some big races coming up, but did you get to enjoy?
We just went to Salt and Straw. That was it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The ice cream.
Have you heard good things about the Denny's here? Like that's apparently been blowing up. Like,
this is the first I've heard of it. So.
well, now
Really?
you're gonna have to. I mean, as a resident of Eugene soon, like
I'm gonna have to go
you've
check
got
it out.
Plenty of chances to.
It's
to
got a
visit
bar in
Denny's.
The Denny's has a
Den-
bar?
the Denny's
Okay,
has a
Which
bar.
I didn't
one?
know
Like
that.
in Eugene or?
Yeah.
I thought these
Just
guys
over
were
in
just
the-
BYOBing
the
to
Springfield.
Denny's.
No.
No,
Wait,
the
is Springfield one? Oh,
the
is
Springfield one over by the
That's like
hotel, by
by
the
our
Outback and
hotel?
stuff. Yes. Yeah,
oh.
the Denny's.
Oh,
yeah.
no wonder.
We
it's been
actually got
popular,
a
just
whole
like-
email about this Denny's, like
Did-
from
yeah,
someone
yeah.
who tuned in and watched, and they're like, "Hey, apologies for sending an email rather than reaching out on social media. Thoroughly enjoying the podcast, all that stuff.
Yada, yada, yada.
The local Denny's restaurant is probably seeing a bump in business after your discussion about it because of Joshua Awatunde. So he came on our show and we asked
He
him
answered
like what
the
happened.
question when you went to Salt and Straw. He was, I went to Denny's and got lit.
He's like, I got lit at Denny's, and then like just, and then he said there was a bunch of other throwers, and now everyone's been talking about this Denny's, and it's like apparently there's a memorable scene in the 1970 film Five Easy Pieces.
5 easy pieces. Yeah,
with Jack
good flick.
Nicholson, and so no, I mean it's a historic Denny's for many reasons now.
Wow.
So you're gonna have to
Including-
Learn something new.
We need
I'll
you
have to
go
check
and-
it out
do
when
some
I
research for us.
give
when
us
I
the
move
full
down
review.
here.
Yeah.
By the time we're here, maybe next year, I will be an expert at Eugene. So
Oh,
Yeah, cool.
I feel like
I
we
feel
are.
like I am too.
you probably already do, though.
Yeah, we keep doing the emergency podcast after races, and fortunately, we're very close to the stadium, as you can tell. And it's just our 9-10 days here has just been more or less within the 2-block radius of here in the stadium. But
Yeah.
we did get to go to breakfast finally today.
So you've done, by the time this is done, you'll have 12 days here, right? And you were here for USA's?
Yeah, we live in
Because I
Eugene
think
already,
that-
if you're-
because I think like if you get to 30, you do have to pay taxes in the state.
Don't say that on air.
Okay, I didn't
Insidious, we don't pay taxes.
We just don't pay taxes.
Sorry about
period.
that. Maybe
have a-
Matt
Does she
can
get
take
to
us off
pay
the air
Utah
again real
taxes
briefly.
then? That'd
Yeah.
be better.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
This is what people tune in for is
Yeah.
the tax talk.
We did have Katura on talking
she
about
could do that.
taxes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So if
Could
you
be
want to
good.
listen to that conversation.
Courtney, I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us and chat. So do you know what's next, Monaco?
Monaco. Yeah.
Monaco.
So
When do we leave for that?
I head over to Europe on August 2nd. So
Got a little time.
Any
Yeah.
bold predictions for these 5Ks?
the 5Ks.
Yeah.
I mean, Carissa has been looking amazing, so I am really excited to see what she can do. I mean, she has a 14:26 PR, and I think that this summer we've seen Carissa back to that form. So yeah, I think she didn't really talk openly last year until after the fact about everything that was going on with her Achilles, but she was just in a lot of pain last year, and it was one of those situations where you just have to get through it because it's an Olympic year. But yeah, she's been back and running so well, and Elise has been looking awesome. And, Emily is one of the grittiest people I've ever known in my life. So I really think all three Americans are going to show up and do really well in this final.
How loud do you get in the stands during their races?
Somewhat. I'm not like a super loud person in general.
Okay.
But
So keep an eye out for her in the stands.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. We'll be hearing you in the stands. I'm confident.
yes. Thank
Courtney,
you guys for having me.
Thank you so much. Johnny, do you want to get a photo?
Quick
There's two
pic. Yeah,
Johnnies
get the
now.
photo.
Yeah. We'll get a quick
There's
photo,
a
and then
whole
we'll bring on
routine.
our next
after,
guest.
After 9
Nice.
days, these guys got it down. Did you see Kyle's clock?
He won that for the Media 800.
Yeah, you go to CITIUS. Shout out. We used to give out
Put
watches.
down a 157 hammer on the people. Sliding closer and closer. Cool.
Thank you.
All right. And now we'll bring on.
Guys.
Thanks, Courtney. We'll bring on our next guest. He is the U.S. 1500 meter champion. Kyle Merber is his favorite runner. What's the story behind that?
Is that? I don't know if I'm. We can ask Cooper if I'm still his favorite runner. Watch that cord.
Cooper Teare is joining the show. Cooper, round of applause.
we got rid of the live audience, but Cooper, I was reading your book.
I'm just
Oh my gosh, yeah. self-published autobiography.
Yeah, tell us about this. So, do we have a good camera shot?
Just hold it out.
How about this one? Okay. So it's Cooper and Cole's top secret training manual.
With photographs by the one and only Joe Hale, good friend.
What's the deal? How'd this come about?
That's not good. They cut your heads off.
There's the revised version's coming out next month. I don't actually know.
Was it wasn't your idea?
No, not at all. I didn't even really know about it until probably like 2 weeks after it started. Joe came to live with us. Eugene, kind of the hub of everything for the last 2 months. So he rented out Charlie Hunter's room in our house, and he was living with us and
Taking pictures without you knowing.
taking pictures in my sleep, in the shower, all this stuff. So you guys tap in for version 2 for that content. But yeah, for a while we didn't know what was really going on, and ran pre. He got some great photos, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm doing this photo book, and it's gonna focus on you two." Had no name. Had
No, you didn't
no
sign
idea.
anything. Just all of a sudden,
No
you've
verbal
been committed.
agreements. So still lawsuit pending. But yeah, it ended up turning out really cool, and it was very, very last minute. Again, Joe takes like 3,000 photos a day, so there's got to be like 100 decent ones between the two of us. But yeah, it ended up being kind of. I felt bad for him because he came to get all this running content, and he got about a week and a half of it, and then we're on the bike and we're in the pool and doing far and away less running than we have in the past 5-10 years. So that was a little rough, but I also think it ended up being pretty cool for how the book turned out, because it's more than just like, oh, another track session, another easy run. It's so easy to get that content, and everyone does it. So there's a little bit of lifestyle stuff, there's a little bit of cross training stuff, and more just about like what we do on the day-to-day rather than just at a workout.
I feel like you've had cameras on you for the last 2 years now, nonstop. And it's easy when things are going really well, probably, like happy to, do the new gen vlogs and have the photographers. But then when things get tough, like they did the past month or so, is that more difficult to then be as transparent?
Yes and no. The good thing is, like, yeah, I've had some good stuff happen in the past, but also some bad stuff. And I don't really mind talking about the bad stuff. It's just like, it's what happens. You can't really change it, and that's how I like to look at it. So yeah, it sucks. Like the biggest problem I had with it was like it felt like I was making excuses, and I don't like to make excuses, but it's just like the fact of the matter. So I didn't want to be like, oh, like have like a cop out. So that's why we're trying to be kind of under the radar with the whole injury and everything preceding the event. And got through USA's, and I was like, who knows what could happen at Worlds, and just cross-trained my ass off. But yeah, at a certain point, after 4 or 5 weeks of not running, it's you can only do so much.
Well, there's excuses and there's reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
How painful was that USA's race?
USA's was far worse than Worlds was. It was like pre-diagnosed. It was like it hadn't been diagnosed. I thought it was just like kind of an inflamed tendon. But I remember I started doing a little bit of cross training before, probably a week and a half out, and then tried to do a workout on the Alter G, and I got 2 minutes into the warm up of it at like 80% body weight, and I stopped and I was like, all right, not ideal, but we're gonna get on the line, and once you get out there, you don't feel anything really. It's just everything before it. You just load up on ibuprofen. Get that race day adrenaline, and you make it through just fine. But yeah, it's like, and it actually felt like it got better after I ran, and maybe that again was just like a little bit of that stuff in my head. But yeah, USA sucked, and Worlds was hard because I aerobically felt like I was there. I just could not move my legs.
Is there a part of you that's like almost relieved that because I'm guessing you don't have to, or is the season over at this point?
For now, the goal is get healthy.
Like you don't have to stress as much. Like I'm sure the last few weeks have been a grind and something that you never want to do again.
Yeah, for sure. It's just like it's hard when you're out of your element and trying to make do with other means rather than what everyone else in the world is doing that's coming here. So yeah, it did suck. And, that first day, like getting booted out in, the heats and then like, going and watching the meet. First day was a little depressing. But then after that, it was just like, what? I made it here. I did what I could with the circumstances. And now I'm going to try to enjoy it for a little bit until I move on to the next thing and, get healthy and get ready to go. So
I think that's a hidden part of the sport that a lot of people we talk about how do you bring lay people into this, that they don't understand, especially when you're that condition, right? You overtrain, you might not start, and if you undertrain, you might not finish.
Yeah.
But it's for this week, and they have a Super Bowl next year, and they have 16 NFL games, and like this is your spot. And we are lucky that there's another World Championships, and it's kind of been compressed. But still, I don't know that people understand that like this is the day. And once something like that creeps in, all the plans, all the goal, how this is going to take, has to get completely reassessed. And mostly have to get by the holy crap, why me, why now kind of thing.
Yeah, no, it's easy to just feel sorry for yourself. And I think I definitely did for a little bit. But, the whole goal of this year was, just like get better and better and make that world team. And, to have been able to do that in the first place was, I was really grateful for and really happy that I could do it the way I did it. And, and so I can only be so sad with, the best season of my life, making worlds, after missing last year at the Olympics. So, it's just like, it sucks that it's now, but I'm also grateful for, everything that came before it. So, there's highs and lows with this sport. And, while it was like my highest high, it was also my lowest low, So that's a little bittersweet, but that's just how it goes. And you got to kind of roll with that because nobody's going to be healthy for their entire career. That's just like, that's how it goes. And I'd rather do it now when I'm a child in the grand scheme of things.
Yep.
I got my best years ahead of me, hopefully. So, so it's all right. It happens. It sucks that it was here. It was, felt a bit embarrassing on that last 100, but then you look back at it and, people understand, people are knowledgeable, people know the sport here, and people still, I got a lot of, congratulations, couple nice tries. But yeah, no, it was great. It was a good experience.
Let's talk about the time you said I was your favorite runner.
Did you say that?
I didn't say it.
He said it.
It was tweeted. Someone took my phone. No, I stood by that at the time. It's still
at the time. No.
Yeah.
Now a favorite media broadcaster.
Yeah.
No, but so the thing that I really appreciate that you and Cole are doing is like the high school connection. Like you guys work so hard at bringing the younger generation up and along with you. Is that natural, or is that like, no, we should do this? This is, if we want to go pro, or now that we're pros, like we have to make a concerted effort to do that.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's so easy to do. I mean, I've been doing it literally forever. Like when I remember back in high school when I got like the tiniest drop of like recognition in like California high school, I used to go home and I would go to my room. I would tell my mom I'm going to do homework, and I would sit on Instagram Live and I would just talk to people. Would go in there and comment, and I would just talk to people on there, which was like so fun and just easy to do. And like did that all throughout high school. College is like, obviously there's always people around. And when you're at somewhere like Oregon, it's pretty easy to have a little bit of that recognition. And I feel like we've kind of really boosted to that next level. And with that, it's a little more time consuming. There's a lot more that goes into it, but it's also like, it's super fun. And I just think about like, I was such a fanboy in high school, as you know, of you.
Yeah, I was also a fanboy of me.
Yeah.
No, but I was a fanboy. Like I was on not Instagram, but just DieStat. Like I think it was probably a little bit before you, but just like I didn't do my homework. I was just looking at results and like what other kids were doing.
Yeah.
Just a track nerd.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
How has that changed, by the way, now?
No, it's only gotten worse. Yeah.
Yeah, now it's your job to be a track nerd. But no, it's easy and it's really cool, honestly. And to see how many, I think the most amount of like recognition I've gotten was after cross country nationals in the fall.
Yeah.
After that, just absolute shit show of a race. And that's like, I feel like that is what maybe made me a little bit more approachable when it came down to it. people were like, oh, he can suck also.
He's
like,
just like us.
The best part of it
Like
was
me.
like a ton of kids sending me clips of them doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
We talked right after this. It's
And-
like the Cooper Teare challenge is getting out of hand.
Yeah, literally, it's crazy. And yeah, it's like who can drink the least amount of water and run the farthest. It's a good challenge. I don't want to be responsible for it, but it was great to see that and a lot of support. And I really did feel bad because I was like, fuck, why are there more tweets about me than like Connor Mance being the first person to ever win 2 in a year?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool. And again, yeah, I've just been doing it for so long that.
When did you realize, like, when you crossed the finish line, at what point were you like, oh, shit, I hope no one saw that?
That was with about 300 meters to go when I first hit the deck. That was so rough. I just remember looking over and seeing some people. I was like, look away. Like, please. They were trying to drag me off, and our director of ops, Jill, was like shooing people out of the way because if they help me, I get DQ'd.
Yeah.
Right.
Wouldn't have minded it, but I got over the line.
That's now on your teeth.
So I was there obviously for that, and we spoke the day before, and you said, listen, I'll give everything I have, and if I go down, I go
I'm
down,
not
which I thought,
drinking
well, that
any
was
water.
great. That would be. But I thought there was one thing you said to me that I thought was amazing that I have taken with and repeated to people a bunch about that cross-country nationals, about how unique it is, how important it is, and you had said, because if you win this, everybody's in this race. On the track, the 5 guys run the 5 and the 10 guys run the 10 and the half guys. It's like everybody you want to beat is in this race, from 800 on up, which I thought was an amazing, really great insight. As another reason people should watch when cross country comes along, because you get them all in one place, which is phenomenal. And then I was struck, so we watch, and you struggle across the line, and this does go to how we view the sport sometimes by gender. And here's this, look at how heroic he is, look how gritty he is, look how he's trying to get through. And then the next race, the girl from Washington, exact same experience. And people are like, somebody should go get her. Like, oh my gosh, is she going to be okay? Right? Like, you're a warrior.
Yeah.
And here we're trying to get her. And I'm with Carrie Tullison, and Carrie's, who obviously, she's like, okay, they're doing the exact same thing. They're having the exact same experience.
Yeah.
So, yes, we should feel sorry that both of them are struggling, but we don't really need to feel that bad for the young woman, because that's what she bought in for. And everything that you went through and were praised for being, tough and gritty, we should be doing the exact same thing for her.
Yeah. I was concerned for you, in fairness. I was not like, oh, he's a hero. I was like, oh, shit, I don't think these points are going to help the team at this point.
Yeah. No,
They're
team
not going to
score-
keep that score.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's we're not
Nothing-
keeping.
Nothing like seeing the breakdown by mile. Split,
Yeah.
down 10, down 20, down 182. Just like,
You got your cooldown built in.
yeah, no, it was great. I remember my mom was on the phone with my sister, and then he was like, something happened, and hung up on her. My sister thought I died. She did, and I remember they threw me into an ice bath, and I was like, wow, this feels really good. I was like, I never thought that before. But yeah, that was tough. And I remember seeing Isaac Green right next to me, because he didn't have a heart attack, but something like that. And I was like, all right, at least I'm not the only one. At least I'm not the only one that got taken by this course. But yeah, definitely learned a lot from that. I think
Go ahead.
you can go.
All right. So you've been cheering pretty hard, right? Is that why your voice is gone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just at the
That
meet every
happens.
day, yelling my heart out for Team USA.
This first sort of like senior team experience, what's that been like for you, I guess, do you have to go from, you can't stay in your apartment, right? You were at the hotel, right?
I do not want to stay at my house. My house is so bad. My house is essentially the New Gen headquarters.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and
How many people are there right now?
I couldn't give you a
But they
number.
got to be out by Tuesday, right? Didn't you tell me the lease is up?
Oh my God, I felt bad because we got kids sleeping on our couches, and I had them hauled out yesterday because we got to get them out of there. So now they're sleeping on the floor. But I was like, "It's what you signed up for when you live here."
Right, when's the lease end?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Tuesday, sure.
Tuesday. So if anyone out there wants to come help us out, help us move, we'll throw you some merch or something. But yeah,
Is the
no,
safety
it's-
deposit going to be?
we're not getting that back. We're probably gonna have to give another one, honestly. But yeah, that's my mom was here this week, and every day she was just like, she didn't even have anything to say anymore by the last. She's like, just leave. And that's okay. It's been fun. It's been a good time. But yeah, honestly, shout out Team USA. Great to have a place to stay that wasn't my house. And yeah, I've been exploiting the dining halls recently. Post race, they have them right on campus. I go and I'm still competing. Sweat my card, get some food. It's been great. It was a really good experience, and I think having everyone in that same environment is really cool. People come in and out at different times, and you're hanging out with guys who are winning the 100, and then I'm hanging out with 10K guys and marathon guys. So it's like it's cool to kind of see different people that you see all the time online and actually get to meet with them in person and again nerd out over some of this stuff and pick their brains about their events, and they do the same for you. So it's cool, and I think just being on this team is really awesome.
Like, you're a big Fred Curley guy on Twitter, right? Have
Yes.
you gotten a chance to like interact with him? Like, we're always
Greatness.
We love just seeing the friendships that come out of this, like the steeplechaser and the like the shot putter or something like that. Have you struck up a really fun friendship?
Yeah, no, I think it might have been you guys that tweeted. It was like Fred Curley,
The
distance
distance
runners.
runners, yeah,
Yes,
that's it,
it's
yeah.
so true. And he knows the sport. He lives the sport more than anyone else I've ever seen. That man wants nothing else but to be the best. And you get around that, and it's infectious, and you want the same. So, he's a super sick guy. You got to respect what he's doing out there, trying to cement himself as the greatest of all time. And I think I got a couple years to kind of do that myself. So it's cool to have people like that, and I'm sure he's got a lot more coming. I was hanging out a lot with Trevor Bassett. Cool to see him.
We have too, yeah.
Yeah, Trevor's been
He's
here
the
a lot.
man.
Yeah, he is the man. He's soft spoken. He knows how to get it done on the track. So it's been really cool. And yeah, I think me and Fred, I might go to Miami to visit him and for some off-season activities.
Sprint work?
Yeah, some sprint work. Lord knows I could use it after that last 300. But
Eat out of the garden.
What's that?
Eat out of his garden.
Yes, yeah, dude.
You want to do the whole Fred Curley experience?
Yeah,
You
I
have
think
to.
I'm gonna buy him some land.
You're gonna buy him some
Yeah,
land.
yeah.
Such a nice
My
gift.
gift. My gift to him.
Have you traded uniforms or anything with other teams?
No, I haven't yet. I back at World Juniors in like 2017, I traded with Mohammed from Germany. And I was talking to him. We had a full, 5-year full circle moment. I was eating at the dining hall and talking to him, and he's like, "We got to do a jersey swap." Haven't seen him since. So if Mohammed is watching, please come find me. I have one for you. I need to double down, or else I'm going to Sam Parsons.
Ooh.
What about your arch nemesis and rival, Jakob?
Yeah. How did that go over?
Yeah, I mean, neither of us are world champ right now, so the rivalry continues. I feel bad about that one, but no,
Facts are facts.
no, he's honestly, you gotta respect what he does. He is the cockiest dude out there, and he backs it up. And I think it was just so funny seeing that whole thing unfold, because I posted that Instagram with no thought that it would stir up anything, and now I saw his brother Henrik was use the same caption in his thing, just I don't think they really get satire or irony over there, because it just over some people's heads, and I got a lot of hate from that.
From
People,
Norway or
from all over, even
Angry Norwegians.
Yeah, even stateside, there was a lot of ridicule that came with that, which honestly I like. Who cares? If you want to be mad about this, go ahead and be so mad, because I'm just gonna laugh at it. Because obviously, he literally almost lapped me in that race that picture was from. I had to sprint. I ran a 58 second to last lap to not get lapped, and then I think I closed in 65 after that. So, yeah, it's hopefully one day it really will be a rivalry, but for now, I got to give him his props. Excited to see him throw it down in the 5K tomorrow. So, yeah.
Rye was here reading his DMs.
Yeah.
I'd imagine your DMs are very interesting. Either high schoolers asking for advice or people from Norway telling you to screw off.
It's a lot. We actually, if you shameless promo, if you pick up the most recent New Gen magazine, if you have it somewhere.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
the first line of there's a article about Cole and I and kind of our cult following, as you will, and the first line, Matt texted me. He's like, "This is one of my favorite lines I've ever written," and just says, their DMs could kill a Victorian child. And I feel like it's so indicative of some of the stuff we get. Because there are people, the internet is a crazy place. There are some people out there that just don't care. And it really shows you how nice it is to just be kind of a normal guy.
Yeah.
Because I don't get what goes through some of these people's minds. But it's great to see them. Man, if I ever need entertainment, I'm bored, I'm down on a certain day, just go through them.
It's not the place to go for positive reinforcement.
No. Sometimes it is.
It's like
really.
extremes, right?
Yeah. It's either they hate you or they are truly in love with you.
There's no vanilla there.
No. It's you don't get just like a good job. You get like I hate you so much, I want you to go die, or come have my children.
It's like
there's
Yelp
no
reviews.
Yeah.
Yelp reviews, 1 star or 5, right?
Yeah, no, there's no in between.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be. I think you're doing something wrong if you are someone that just gets your normal praise. Like, I want to be a little bit controversial. I want everyone to know who I am, whether that is good or bad. There's goods and there's bads. I don't want it to ever be bad, but like if you gotta take it that way, if you think I hate Jakob, so be it.
So we just want the Q rating, right? Q rating doesn't measure good or bad. It just measures, do people know who you are?
Yeah.
So we just want to increase our Q rating.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished for sure.
So the other day, Kyle was watching some of the races, and he was like, you know what? I'm like so glad that I'm not there right now because of the call room and like just how intense it gets. And he said, I'd be so scared. Can you describe for us like what the call room is like at a World Championships versus like NCAAs or any other meet?
Yeah, it's intense, and we were just talking to USATF people when I first arrived during the before the 15, and they're like, you better be in that call room or they will not. And once they say call room closed, you're done. And we got in there, and everyone's in there besides Timothy Chariot. And I heard, call room closed. And we're like, hell yeah. No Timmy. I guess world champs get an exception or something.
Yeah,
but
they can warm up
he made
extra.
it in. But honestly, I'm very close with a lot of the people that work these events. So, and it's all the same people that
'Cause it's
like people doing
volunteers,
Oregon Premier and World Champs. It's like these people are, superstars in their own right with what they do, and you go out and you chalk it up with them at the Wild Duck after. Like these are Eugene's finest, and so for me it's not that bad, honestly. But I do think you should be able to do more strides. If anyone is listening to this, you should be able to do more strides underneath. They hold you for a while, but they're kind of accommodating. If you got to go to the bathroom, they tell you have 30 seconds to go, and it is hectic, and it's a bit scary, and I'm scared to do it somewhere that's not here. But here I can make do.
Budapest next year.
Yeah, we'll see.
Budapest is going to be a different ball game.
Yeah.
But we'll figure it out.
Well, I think we've got. Why do we have 12 people here in our live audience?
It's an entourage. We
Sinclaire
have an
rolling
entourage.
Can I have
super
some of
deep.
Yeah, bring them on.
Yeah,
Just bring her on. You can stay.
Should we bring Sinclaire on?
Yeah.
Should we do some ASMR?
Are you allowed to share your time with Sinclaire?
Yeah,
You're okay
yeah.
with that?
Yeah, I'll make an exception. Make an exception.
Today, one day only.
Yeah, that would be great. Oh, you guys got the industrial size
These are the
bag.
best chips out
Just
there.
They're
bring
so
'em on.
good.
Just
I actually have a bag
leave
of
the
these at
bag.
home. I just want
Sinclaire, are you okay with
weight.
sharing your
I'm in
time with
off-season.
Cooper?
Right, the off season's down you.
Bring him here with you.
Only if you ask Sinclair about how cool her mom is, though.
All right. I want to hear. All right, so joining us now with Cooper. Cooper, you're now our co-host.
Oh, good.
So you
you
have
can
to ask
ask
questions as well.
Okay.
All right, U.S. champion, 6th place
Yes.
in the World Championship 1500 final. Take a microphone, Sinclaire Johnson.
They need to hear me.
Sinclaire.
Hi. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Where'd your voice go?
Yeah.
Cheering.
As you can tell, it's gone. But yeah, I'm cheering so loud for everybody. And yeah, I try to save it today a little bit so I can scream for Raven tomorrow. So hopefully after tomorrow I'll be actually mute.
I never thought about that. Just like the disadvantage that some of the athletes on the tail end of the schedule might be because the fans are just gone hoarse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like, they know everyone else is starting to have a lot of fun. Like, I think you guys being in the middle nice advantage in terms of the 10-day cycle, right? Like you're having a great World Championships experience because of it.
Yeah, I for sure. Like, I think obviously the energy was super, super high the first weekend, and it's people's, the first few days too. So I think everyone's like super stoked. Although people are still really, really stoked right now. But it's kind of cool to have the experience of the athlete. And then now I'm just being a fan of the sport, and I can do things like this and, hang out with all the people that came to see me. So it's been a good balance between the two.
Was there a race where it went out and you went, oh, man?
Not a certain race. I just
Okay.
I have one volume when I scream, and it says shriek. And if I'm not screaming, then I don't know how to not. I don't know how to lower my voice, but I think it was probably in Ravens. Like, she just scared me so much that first round.
Right.
Just
Got knocked around.
Yeah, and we were right on the steeple pit side, so that last turn. So I think we were screaming. I was screaming at the top of my lungs.
How did the race feel? I mean, it was a weird race, right?
Yeah, it was strange.
Have you ever gone out or been in a race in which they went out in 58?
No, I mean, Pre was a little bit similar in the sense that I think they went out in 61, and I think that's what we went out in, and they went out obviously in 58. I think the more alarming thing though was that the clock stopped at 55. Mm-hmm. And I was freaking out by that moment.
You kind of feel good that you're like, oh, wow, I'm in good shape. Like, I feel like a 55.
I was like, I'm about to PR in the 800. But I still have another 700 to go after that. There's no way. But yeah, it was strange in the sense that obviously the first 100 meters of any race, everyone's was going out hard, trying to get jockey for position. But then we just kept sprinting and didn't stop sprinting. And then I felt like we were going all out, and they were already forming that gap 400 meters into the race, which was kind of, I think, hard mentally to be still, you still have a shot, because I wanted to medal. And, I think I didn't have enough experience to be able to commit to a pace like that early on. But yeah, I was just kind of hoping that someone was going to come back from that group. And one woman did, but the top three were pretty solid. So I was like, well, I think at that point it was just I'm just going to try and place the highest I can, and kind of have to, unfortunately, forget about the medals at that point.
What's the vibe check now after? First time being in a race like that at this level, you finished in the top half of the field, of the best 1500 field in the world. Are you happy? Or
Yeah, I'm very happy, yeah. I think sometimes you can feel and I've talked to a lot of other athletes about this too, is if you don't get a medal, it feels like a failure. But I do feel like there can be so many more positive to come out of any race, even if you don't medal. So I definitely think initially was a little disappointed, but now looking back on it, I'm super happy with it. I think I did the best I could have done on that day. And if I would have put myself in medal contention and gone out in 58, I think I would have been dead last. So I think just trying to gain experience through racing like that will just come with time. So yeah, I'm really happy about it.
Do you guys look at the odds that the Oregon bookmakers are putting out beforehand? Were you at all aware?
I think that crowd is back there.
Yeah.
Definitely my friends are.
Yeah.
I think some of them came in to me we put money on you. I was like, well, now I feel really bad.
Yeah. Buy them a few beers.
Yeah.
Say sorry.
Yeah.
But were you aware beforehand? It's kind of the cool aspect of being able to compete at this level now. You probably haven't had odds for an NCAA championship.
Yeah, no, it was a little bit depressing looking at the odds for me for a second, but I had some people put some money on some people, so not going to talk about it, but yeah, no, it's really cool to see that, and I feel bad for horses now because it's a little bit degrading when you
Get
when
ridden.
you're not the top guy. But no, it's cool to see that, and it's cool that people have that opportunity to do that because that's how it should be. That's how you make the sport bigger. People love betting. People don't love sitting and watching with no stakes in it. It's yeah, you have country versus country, but when your hard-earned money's on the line, then you really get invested. And I think that's what we should do. I'm not saying we should bet on middle school races, but let's get it's almost more fun. Yeah. But yeah, why not put together a pro circuit or something where people can get get a chunk of the money that's bet, and people get payouts, and I feel like that'd be sick.
Well, Sinclair, you guys did that. Like, didn't Union? You guys have kind of pooled money together in the race indoors, of like if you like the athletes are now getting a piece of people watching it.
Yeah, I think was it Tracklandia that kind of started that.
Yeah.
Last year with just like the pay-per-view format of that money going back into the athletes. So yeah, I think a lot of times the top athletes are the ones like getting paid, and there are a lot of resources for them, but there's a ton of people that aren't, and so I think it's a really cool opportunity there for people that aren't even have a contract or on a really small contract to be able to earn some more money on even like these little low-key small races.
I need to drink a beer in stadium before we leave.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we've seen like this meet with the betting and the beer, and it's like a festival outside the stadium. This is like everyone's idea of we got teams finally.
Yeah.
How sophisticated is the betting? Like, can I parlay you and Carol
Yeah.
Winger?
There's
Can I
no
parlay?
parlaying.
Okay, 'cause
No,
that would be
some
awesome.
websites you can do like crazy.
And is it straight just meddling, or can I take? Can I take
On DraftKings right
Chariot
now, it's odds
and
to win, and
you
then
know,
odds to
6
medal.
seconds, and the next like
Yeah.
like if this was
There's
left
a
to
lot
me,
you
we
could
could
do
do a
with it.
lot of really cool things.
I want to know who's made the most money off of this so far.
Yeah,
Like
Gordon
who
Mack.
took Whiteman?
Yeah.
Who?
Right,
Oh, yeah.
that had to pay handsomely.
Yeah.
In the shops, as they say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's some of the odds have been crazy. I'm in the red.
I keep doing like $2-3 bets on really, really long shots, like, and so I will have just lost everything but
Yeah.
no, I didn't pick Whiteman for some reason. I was
You've
all
been-
in on
you've been a
Cooper.
millionaire.
He's all in on Cooper.
But I see. If I'd have said before the race, would you put $5 in white? When you just said no way, right? Like
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
so-
the hard thing. You don't know what people are doing. That's what happens when it comes to betting. That's when I start getting the real threats.
Yeah. Wow, that's
When
something you
I
don't
get
think
out of
about.
the heats.
But when you see that, something like that, you're like, okay, so I get who we think, is the betting favorite or just the overwhelming favorite. Forget that. Here's faith. But like, no, on that day, that's why we race, is at some point. So even if it seems like they're out there sort of beyond a number that you're like, you can't comprehend right away, is that Billy Mills ran off in 1960, right, and beat people. Like, that's the beauty of the race, is that we get in there, and at some point, you might not have your legs at 300, but someday you might.
Yeah.
And
I
then
think
look out, everybody.
exactly. Yeah. I think what like the betting side of it shows is like, some people probably count themselves out before it even starts, but it's like, I do have a chance actually. People think I have a chance, whether it's a
My family.
1 in 300 chance, but hey, come on. let's
But the
put a
beauty of
dollar
this
on it.
is that you're in the fight.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's all you can hope for at some point, is if you get in the fight. In your case, okay, so they took off on you, but you're in the fight, and you can make that conscious effort. You're like, okay, maybe today, you know what? I may go. It might be 12, but I'll go in there. You chose a different route. But I think that's part of the beauty of all of it. You guys are all in on the F1, right? You're crazy about the F1. I watch the F1. I'm not a big fan because I think there's 2 guys that can win every week, right? It bores the death out of me. They barely pass. 2 or 3 guys, the only guys who win. They got teammates. Can you imagine if you had teammates and they said, honestly, we really need Cole to win, so you're going to have to pull over and let him go by, right? But that happens in that race, right? So
I do it for Cole.
so while you guys
Cole.
are all F1, I've been biting my tongue, and I'm like, no, I hate it. I hate everything about it.
All right, we let John get that out of
Yeah,
his
do you
system
have
on day
it?
9.
It's like Gladwell and the bikes.
Yeah,
I should
Gladwell
hug
hates
and
bikes.
make up.
No, the point is, in this case, that's not how it works here. You go out and you get in that race, and you can go win. Nobody's doing that, and it's not, 2 or 3 teams that get a chance to win. Everybody can go out there and get it done if they choose to. But you're right. I'll get off my soapbox now.
I kind of like this, John. That's some good
Yeah.
hot takes. We're supposed to ask about your mom.
Yeah, my mom.
What is that? I haven't met her before, but someone said something special.
Yeah, so
Ever? Wow,
I
that's
guess
a tall
Dana
order.
met her on a flight out here. Yeah, and they bonded apparently, and they're best friends now.
Quick story.
Quick story. So I sat next to Sinclair's mom on the airplane, and we were very close to your race. So if this flight got delayed, Sinclair's mom would not have made it
Yeah.
at all.
She had confidence you'd be
So
in the
yeah,
final.
so my mom told me about, I guess, well, basically when I made the team, that she has my mom's big into drone photography, so she has a drone photography project that she has to do, and she's only gonna be there for the final. And she was flying in the day of.
Okay, it's not just a drone photography project. It was like she was in Alabama. They were discovering the latest like slave ship to be discovered like in the water in Alabama, and like working to tell the story about it. And one of her mom's also a doctor and a scuba diver. Just like a really incredible human.
And like a travel influencer as well. She just does. Oh yeah.
She's incredible. But the funniest thing
What does your mom do? Anything?
She
sick?
makes me dinner
Yeah.
most nights.
Does
Your mom have a sweatshirt with your picture on it?
No, she doesn't.
True that.
So,
But I
you
will
go.
say, for all the amazing things I say about your mom also scared the shit out of me because we're about to land. We see Eugene, and she goes, I'm really glad this flight didn't go down. And I'm like, man, we are still in the air. We are still in the air.
there's still time. Don't say that right now.
But yeah, overall, I just thought your mom was badass.
She
And
is pretty badass.
I wanted to hear, what's it like being raised by such a badass?
I feel like I get a lot of my my independence and my confidence and my don't give a shit attitude from my mom. So yeah, I feel
Oh,
like
she's in the chat. She's in the
Oh,
YouTube
she
chat.
is?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Was she a runner?
no, not a runner. Well, she wasn't like she ran. She like started running after college. Yeah, she did. Well, she did marathons and she did ultra marathons. So yeah, she is a runner. But my mom like has done. She's done everything. She literally has done everything. But yeah, it's pretty cool. She's definitely a very like well-versed woman in anything and everything.
So you've got this whole. Or did you have?
Yeah,
I was
Cooper
going to
was
say
supposed to be
she was,
asking questions,
she was
too.
also an integral part of the Jan Figueroa
Yes.
bus tour.
Yeah.
Really?
I think she sent him off with a shrimp neck pillow.
Yep. That he wore the entire
Which-
time.
So she's tapped in. She was at step one, sent him off.
Yeah, so Jan went from Tampa to Orlando, and my mom and my brother met. Jan's been friends with
Yeah, maybe
me
like
for-
set the scene a
Okay.
little. So
Jan's been friends with, or I've been friends with Jan for years, like ever since high school. And my mom has kind of adopted him into our family, so she always calls him her second son. But yeah, so they met Jan at the bus stop in Orlando, and gave him like a little goodie bag and had this shrimp roll, like neck roll, that I literally think I didn't ever see him take it off. I think he
No.
wore it the entire time.
Yeah, no, he's had it on.
And then Jan had a couple more stops, and then he actually ended up in Indianapolis in one stop. And my dad was visiting family in Indianapolis, and my dad met Jan there, also gave him another care package. So my family, we're really close with Jan.
Apparently, yeah. Your mom says your brother Brian gifted the shrimp pillow.
Yes, he did.
So for those who aren't familiar, Jan is a new gen guy and photographer who took a bus from Tampa.
From Tampa all the way to
Eugene to be
Yeah.
here to cover and watch the meet and cheer on his friends. So
Yeah.
Is
got
he
like
in
a
the
ton
house?
of
Is he
play.
crashed in the
Yes,
house?
yes.
Yeah,
He's currently sleeping under a table. Very comfortable, and he now has a nice neck pillow to keep him very comfortable. So shout out to Sinclair's mom for that. I think my parents met him, and I think he's stopping in Oakland on the way back. So
Oh,
he's going to
really?
stay at my house, and my mom's going to cook him a meal. So
I love it.
mothers and Jan.
Yeah, and Fred Curley.
Yes, and Fred Curley, of course.
What have you done since the race that you're
Lot.
allowed to talk about?
A lot.
Yeah.
Denny's?
I
Did
mean,
you go to Denny's?
Denny's. I was never at Denny's. I think the one night the night after my race, we got kicked out of, not kicked out, but the bar
Asked to leave.
The bar shut down. We went to, I don't know what remember it was called, but around 2:30 I think it was, we got shut down. And the Canadian team, shout out to the Canadian team. They love to party, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Because we spent another hour outside the bar with some guy who was playing music out of his car, and we had a dance party on the sidewalk for literally an hour. And I was like, it was about 4 a.m. I'm like, I think I need to go home, and they were still going. So it was a fun time.
Team USA.
Yeah, Team USA Canada. Exactly.
Yeah, Fred was there.
So this squad that you rolled in with,
Yeah.
Where
Spot.
where are they
A lot of
on
sunglasses
the
on.
when you're racing? Where are they in the stands, and what do you hear? Is it like is it intense cheering? Is it like go Sinclair, or like how intense does it get?
I think it's pretty intense. Yeah. I think, I don't know exactly where they were. I think I saw one of my friends, he's not here today, but Gunner, like right before my final, which I think made me actually more nervous because he was the only one standing up, just like, yelling and yelling. But yeah, I mean, these guys have been great.
Where are
They're
all these people from?
all from Portland. Yeah. They're all from Portland. So we have a great squad out there, and they're like, yeah, just some of my best friends. So they love to be fans of track. They love to party with me. So it's a good balance. Like, they definitely keep me sane.
Can tailgating save track and field?
It's step one.
Yeah, right.
You got to
That's what
start
we have to
somewhere.
do first.
Tailgating, I mean, you can attest. John was at our house for about 2 hours before the NCAA one
Yeah, I
tailgate.
came by.
And I think probably 5 or 10 times he's like, I got to go before I get in trouble. And then next story popped up, and we kept
there, yeah.
chalking it up. And yeah, it's a great way to bring people together.
Some of it was just the very comfy AstroTurf out on the back porch, very nice, soft
Yeah.
on the feet. I liked it there.
It's nice. It's a nice
It
setup.
was better coming afterwards though, because then I could drink beer. Work beforehand.
Off the clock.
Yeah. The next,
some
you
beer.
got Duquesne, you got
And Fred Curl.
the Butter Boys. There was a lot of stuff going over there.
Yeah.
So
Sinclair, have you figured out what's next after this?
Yeah, I have actually. So I leave to go to London on Thursday, and I will be there for about 5 weeks. Well, in Europe in general, in 5 weeks. So I'll be in Monaco first for the 15 there, and then I'll be running an 800 in Lausanne at that Diamond League, and then Brussels 1500, and then hopefully I'll have enough points for the Diamond League final in Zurich.
which of those cities is most like Stillwater?
I haven't been to any of those cities, but I can tell you already that probably 0.
Probably none of them.
Yeah.
No.
Coop, like you've got to still wait now, I guess, for your Europe circuit, right?
I know, it's depressing.
You should just go hang out.
That's what
Yeah,
I
you
was
should.
saying. I was like,
Get a shrimp pillow and go.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take a bus. I'll take a bus. But no, I want to go to Monaco. I'll go cheer.
You have unused travel budget, probably.
Exactly. I was actually talking to Trey Cunningham, and I was like, you just got paid. Let's go get a yacht.
Yeah.
I'll come out. I'll cheer you on
From the yacht.
from the yacht, from the yacht, and let's just have a good time. So, yeah, unfortunately, going to have to wait for that for a little bit. But
I think some of my friends are also planning a trip to Monaco.
Really?
No way.
Yeah, yeah.
That's an expensive one.
Yeah, they're sending it. So if you want to get on it.
yeah, I'll be talking to them after the podcast.
That says
concludes.
love, though, because anybody can drive down from Portland.
I know.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
It
that's
is
not that
love.
hard.
It is love.
Oh, that's what we love to see.
Yeah. Any races in particular you're looking forward to now in the last couple of days?
Definitely the 5Ks. I'm looking forward to Carissa today. I think she's feeling good, feeling ready. And then the 4x4s. I just love relays. We don't get to see them a lot, so I think those are always fun to watch.
Just to get the pulse, Sydney's 400 hurdles last night.
Oh,
like,
my goodness.
What were your initial reactions? And now a day later, where does that fit in greatest races of all time?
I was sitting with Phil Knight while watching it.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was
Name
I was
dropping.
raise.
Yeah.
and I was like, all right, he's just gonna tell someone to go sign her right now. It's like just absurd to watch, and it's crazy to me like how nonchalant she is. Like at the trials when she broke the world record, and she's just like, okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would literally like do a backflip. I can't do a backflip, but I would do one
For
just cause.
first time.
Yeah, and I was like, just absurd to see her go and put a field like that just away, like by 2 seconds almost. Just insane.
Right. Like she was running a middle school race. Like
Yeah.
it looked like every other race she ever had, which is amazing, right? Whether it was Kentucky or these other spots. So give me it was it 50-46? Is that what the final number was?
50-68.
50-68. In 5K, what's a 50-68?
Yeah, like the equivalent.
Yeah. What do you
And then
think
for
that is?
1500.
Yeah. If you're like
12:22, maybe.
That absurd.
12:25. Yeah, just ridiculous.
yeah, and 1500 if you're like, okay, if you say that's running what? Just a viewer guess. I'm not saying straight, just what you would think. Because I see that and I'm like, okay, somebody didn't just,
like a
there's a guy that was a high jumper, and
347.
the high jump record's
Yeah,
at 8 foot a half inch, but that's like somebody just jumped 8'4".
Yeah.
Right? They skipped over a bunch of numbers,
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, probably sub
That's
350 for sure.
Yeah.
Can you run a 50-point like scratch start? You think? Like,
Well, I know I couldn't make
10
it
out
over-
of 10 days. Like, probably not.
I know I couldn't make it over one hurdle. Plus, I could, out of blocks, I could maybe run 50.68. Yeah, just right around there.
You could have.
I remember, I was in like 52 flat or like 51.9 or something at USA's, and I was like, I am so fast. And when I see that, I'm like, damn it.
Amazing.
Well, we need you guys both to sign. Sinclair, have you read Cooper's book?
I have not. No.
Oh,
It's
we
more
have
of a picture book.
take a-
still
Is
Is this
Take
what
a
everybody
copy.
in your family's getting for
Training
Christmas? Do we know right now?
Yes, yes, that in a
Yeah.
magazine.
Well,
That in a magazine.
Cooper and Sinclair, thanks for stopping by and
course.
kicking it with us. We're looking forward to Sinclair seeing you the rest of the season, and Coop, get healthy soon so we can see you back out there.
Seeing me another season.
Have fun in Monaco, Coop.
Oh, I will. I think we should just do live podcasting. I'll join the crew.
In Monaco?
Yeah.
We were
We'll
actually
go from
talking
the
to
boat.
meet director last night.
We
the yacht,
actually,
get
this
out there.
idea was broached for next year in
Yeah.
Monaco. I don't think we can swing it this time, but
Yeah.
yeah, thanks so much for joining us.
And everyone who's watching, thanks for tuning in to another episode of CITIUS MAG Live from the World Athletics Championships. I'm Chris Chavez. This is Kyle Merber.
Do you guys
This is
have
John
anything nice to
Anderson.
say about Citius before we
Oh, yeah,
leave?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just look
if you
into
would.
that camera right there.
Thanks for having me.
Oh.
The chips were good.
Yeah.
I had a nice conversation. You're still my favorite runner.
Yes.
We'll sign it off with that.
There we go.
Buy the
Perfect.
book. You can't actually buy the book. It's free, and they're also all gone. So
We have 3
find
here.
someone who has it.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks so
All right.
much.
Thanks
See you guys
for
this
tuning in.
evening.
See you guys tomorrow.
Get the whole summer palette.